My dears, good afternoon. Welcome to Maverick Baking and welcome to another what I eat in a week for breakfast, what I eat for breakfast, what I eat first thing in the morning, what I eat this week for breakfast, food diary type video. You guys have been absolutely loving these recently, as well as the kind of vlog style, day in the life videos I've been doing. And I wanted to thank you guys, not only by saying thank you for all the love, all the subscriptions, all the comments, but also just by making another one of these. If though you are new to the channel, my name is Kelly and here on Maverick Baking, we conduct these kind of foodie vlogs. I share super delicious and easy recipes all the time. We undertake food challenges, we do food reviews, mostly chocolate to be fair, but anything edible, that's my kind of scene. So do feel free to stick around if that's your kind of thing too. But today we are getting into 7 more days of what I've been eating for breakfast. Now this felt like a particularly luxurious week, not in terms of costs and, actual literal luxury, but there's been a lot of lovely recipe testing, a lot of kind of baking just because I felt like it, not necessarily to make content with it, and a little bit of a kind of trip to Venice this week as well. So we have everything from the wholesome, cozy, home-cooked breakfasts to the kind of bougie, very Italian style coffee at the bar breakfast out, and just a couple of excuses to eat cake first thing in the morning, which honestly, I don't need an excuse to do anyway. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. I hope you've been feeding yourselves well recently too. Let's get into it. We began the week with a breakfast that's every bit as wholesome as it is wonderfully indulgent. A little bit of chocolatey, pistachio-y porridge. I had a couple of swigs first from this bottle of kefir. This flavour in particular is really good, and I tend to drink this pretty regularly. I have done for years. I find it helps my digestion a little bit, and some brands are really tasty. I could not resist cracking open this pistachio-filled bar of this Novi milk chocolate. It's one of the more kind of mass market brands here in Italy, and honestly, for the price and availability, it's considerably better than its peers. So after cooking the oats with some soy milk and a bit of honey and a couple of those squares melted in, I added some more on top just to melt into a gorgeously sweet, rich, but also filling breakfast. Day 2, I decided to have a big old chunk of this beautiful fresh white bread after a little bit of a milky coffee, and I slathered it with this peanut butter and a little bit of this forest fruits jam. It's like blackberries, raspberries, black currants and things like that. I love jam of all types, but this one particularly in the winter months with a bit of peanut butter is like the perfect blend of like bitter, sweet, sour all at once. It's really rich, both in the colour and in the flavour. And while some people would like to toast the bread first or make this into a sandwich, there's something just glorious about thickly spreading both onto one big doorstep-sized slab of bread. An absolute pleasure of mine to have with a coffee in the morning. Day 3 was a day that followed a lot of recipe testing for these beautiful, sunshiny little grapefruit bars that I'd like to talk to you about. I started off the day by warming up the coffee machine and had a couple of swigs of a lovely bottle of kefir, which I will no doubt shake in front of your face in a second. But let's talk about these grapefruit bars. If you've been around the channel for a while, you may have seen either here or on my blog, maverickbaking.com, a recipe for lemon bars. One of my favourite recipes. It's like a buttery shortbread with a lemon custard on top, and it offers this gorgeous blend of like creamy and sweet and acidic, but grapefruit made these bars a little bit more kind of bitter rather than acidic, which wasn't really the vibe I was going for. Also, I could have baked that shortbread a little bit more, so they're not quite perfect enough to share the recipe with you guys yet, but do let me know if you'd be interested. But let me talk to you about something else first. I'm sure by now you guys will have all heard of Skillshare, but have you actually tried it out yet? There's a reason everyone's been talking about this site. It's the internet's handiest collection of online classes that you won't find anywhere else. You can learn about everything from cooking to drawing to videography, all in the same place from actual proper professionals. I've been loving the classes this winter, using my spare time to learn new recipes, figure out how to improve my podcast, or to watch the bean to bar chocolate making process. Try it out for yourself using my discount code and link in the description box below. And enjoy. On day 4, I treated myself to an absolute childhood favourite. It was a particularly kind of grey and chilly day outside, and having woken up quite late, there was nothing more I wanted other than apparently some more swigs of kefir. But there's nothing I wanted more than a bit of chocolate. We still had some of this lovely bread left over. I'd had it in the freezer because I got far too much of it one week when I went shopping. So I cut myself a big, lovely, thick slice of it and spread it equally thickly with Nutella because If you ask me, there's no point having Nutella unless it is spread thickly. I then topped it off with its classic best friend, some slices of banana for some lovely creaminess, sweetness, and of course some nutrients in there too. I also sometimes like to add a little pinch of salt on top of this. Not every time, but today felt like it was kind of the vibe for it. And as you can see, I was particularly happy about it. And I mean, just look at it. I sliced the bananas with a serrated knife, so they do look a bit funky, but honestly, this is so good at any time of day, in my opinion. But both me and Francesco absolutely love this combo for breakfast. And we had it, obviously, with a milky coffee. On day 5, let's talk about that luxury that I mentioned at the start of the video. We'd been supposed to have some friends over for dinner the night before, so, you know, as you can see, there was already a fridge full of all kinds of food and also some leftovers. And Francesco had requested that I make one of his favorite desserts, which is a crostata di frutta. This one in particular, using just about the only fruit that's available in season just now that isn't tangerines, being some pears that I had poached. And with the short crust pastry and that kind of crema pasticcera, absolutely incredible. On day 6, I had a meeting in Venice in the morning, and we treated ourselves to getting there even earlier just so we could spoil ourselves with a beautiful Venetian and beautifully seasonal Venetian breakfast for that matter. It's the season where you'll be able to find frittelle in Venice, which are these gorgeous little kind of fried dough lumps that are sweetened either with sugar or a kind of sweet creamy filling. The stereotypical kind of Venetian one has raisins and pine nuts and a sugar coating, and it was perfect. I had it with a kind of soy cappuccino, and it was a gorgeous start to the day. Even more recipe testing led to even more delicious sweet stuff for breakfast the following day, alongside a mug of kind of straight up more American style black coffee rather than the usual espresso or a milky kind, to have with this rum, cinnamon and vanilla spiked banana bread that I baked in a kind of rectangular tin just because I felt like it for a more even bake. The recipe makes for this gorgeously moist yet still fluffy banana bread. The glaze just adds the perfect amount of sweetness, and the rum is definitely in there and works really well with the cinnamon and vanilla without making it kind of too stinky and boozy. Let me know if you guys want the recipe for this one. And that, folks, is everything I ate for breakfast this week. A little bit scrappier, perhaps, than those we filmed in past, but that is just the reality of how this week has been. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit of dessert, a little bit of kind of wholesome fibrousness. There's been all sorts for breakfast this week, and it's been as delicious as ever. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, eating well and eating delicious, and keeping yourselves safe and warm this winter. If you guys want to see more content like this, or you have any other kind of day in the life or food style diary videos you'd like me to share, just let me know in the comments below. Your feedback is always read and appreciated. But that is all I have time for today. I have some errands to go and run while the sun is still up, but I will see you for the next one.